Cape Town, the COVID-19 food crisis saw communities volunteer their assistance across neighbourhood borders. Those first tentative outreaches have now been cemented into bonds of enduring partnership as urban agriculture takes root. Marsa Kekana has the story.
Urban food gardens like this are thriving across Cape Town. Lockdown plunged so many communities into a food crisis and soup kitchens sprung up everywhere. But what's emerged 9 months later are these incredible networks of urban farmers. It's market day for Ocean View Organic Farm, run by 5 women who call themselves the Kos Gangsters. They're struggling to keep up with the demands of preparing 80 boxes of veggies for sale this morning into the local communities and baking bread for the soup kitchens. Sophia Grodus is the driving force.
We came from retail workers, housewives, teachers. We had our own careers. We knew nothing about farming. We were caterpillars, and then we went through the metamorphosis and we turned up into butterflies.
And that pretty much sums up what many urban farmers feel about the connections established this year. Across Cape Town, there are 160 different community action networks, known as CANs. They are groups of people that came together in the beginning of lockdown to provide support for their neighbours. Resource communities partnered with under-resourced communities, initially to provide food relief, but these relationships transformed into ongoing partnerships.
We were all talking about food aid, and we were all talking about how we're going to make this last, and we know that we're going to run out of everybody else's money. And the best way is by growing your own food.
Erica Inches started the Cape Town Together Food Growers Initiative, and there are now 11 different WhatsApp groups and a Facebook page, trading seeds, running education workshops, and exchanging resources.
I've used my fortune that I've had in life to try and help other people, because anybody that's my age in South Africa at this time should be paying back into the country.
Stuck in lockdown with a background in finance management and permaculture, she says she's just joining the dots between the growers, NGOs, and the specialists. But that's taken 18 hours a day for the last 9 months. And to date, no one has ever seen her face.
It seems what this initiative has done is also connect really small farmers into this big network.
Yes, all these voices that were unheard before are being very much heard now.
Vuyani Kamata has been struggling to make a go of it in school gardens for years. And when COVID hit, he found himself locked out of the school and worried how he would feed his family. He joined the Gugulethu can, and suddenly he was connected into the resources of the Sea Point can. There are many urban farmers dotted around Gugs, and this was the chance for them to get organized. So far, they've built 13 new gardens and formed the Gugulethu Urban Farmers Initiative, Goofy.
We had the support of people opening their hearts, opening their hands, from more privileged areas. It's unbelievable what it did for us.
This is what this space looked like before lockdown. Fast forward 9 months later, and it's been transformed into this incredible food garden. Busisilana was sick with anxiety at the start of lockdown. Her husband and brother had both lost their jobs, and she feared how long hers would last. Her son suggested they try and grow some veggies to feed the family of 6. Busi, what an impressive garden. Was there anything here before the lockdown?
Definitely not.
What was here?
Oh, it was just plain sand. One day, my tap over there was leaking. I called my neighbor to just check it out. And fortunately for me, he's like, what are you guys starting here? It's like, we're starting a garden. And then he's like, nope, hell no, not like this. I'll show you how. I'll bring a team, 3 days. This is what came about.
Now she is a convert. Before lockdown, she had no interest in gardens.
It brought a lot of joy because now I don't necessarily have to go to the stores to go and buy.
Vuyani happens to be her neighbor, who had created his secret garden just over her back wall, and she had no idea it existed, apart from the sounds of his chickens.
Even more amazing was that we even managed to attract part of our society which had no interest at all in farming or gardening, and that was the youth.
This is the beginning of a dream of the Gugulethu Urban Farmers Initiative, where they aim to turn Gugs into a food forest, and also to have people wake up to the sound of birds chirping. These gardens are havens of hope. In Mfuleni, Hazel Nyaba's garden is full of hearts, which says it all.
Whenever I'm sad, I don't have another place to go. Whenever I want my me time, I don't have another place to go. I have to come here and meditate.
Starting out in a small garden alongside her house, she's clinging on to a patch across the road that she's defending from the encroaching shacks. How are the CTT Food Growers benefiting you?
The information that they are sending, it's helping. The solution that you give another farmer, I also get that solution so that I can use it in my garden.
Well, I also hear there's also exchanging of seeds and plants.
Yeah, I have to save seeds so that I can also give back.
That's exactly how Nomalanga Reuters managed to get herself started. It was on seed donations through the WhatsApp group. In June, this was a barren sandy patch. Nomalanga and her husband have turned it into a beacon of hope for those around her.
COVID-19 impacted my life in such a drastic way whereby 1 minute I had a place to stay, next minute I was evicted because of not being able to pay rent. I used to go to soup kitchens. Then I realized that I spend half of my day waiting for a plate of food that I don't know when it's gonna come. And I decided, you know what, I can always collect compost and put into the ground and try and start up a small garden.
The more she started posting about her garden, the more people supported her.
The minute we started that network, that's whereby we realized that there's so many of us in the location. Most of us are doing great work, but we don't really get that connection or recognition.
We visited her a month after she started this school garden.
When they approached me, I was already rejected by 4 schools around the location. But the aim of accepting the offer was because I wanted to incorporate what I do into the school curriculum.
Everyone we spoke to told us of their struggle to access large enough pieces of land to make farming viable. The city won't give access even to dumping sites, and people are building on every little corner. Water and markets are the other things holding them back.
The frustration in dealing with government, the bureaucracy, and these things that we're getting now, we applied them for in 2017. And that's one of the things that has made it necessary that there is a forum to really engage government.
Our backyard gardeners that have come onto the network and are starting to show results of what they're doing, the Department of Agriculture is meeting up with them through the network and starting to help them.
Every week via Zoom, they're sharing their problems and knowledge from seed to water harvesting and how they're going to tackle bureaucracy.
Highly skilled people in that field sharing their time for nothing.
COVID kick-started the connection, but there are now solid partnerships. Clovelly and Komiki Can donated the oven and all the equipment for the Kos Gangsters restaurant and continue to raise funds for the bread and soup mix supplied to many soup kitchens in the area. Next up is a nursery.
The Food Growers Initiative gave people a lot of hope during the hard lockdown and gave a lot of people purpose and meaning. And that's what being human is all about, isn't it?
I would stand on top of the hill and shout and say, guys, we can do it. We can just start.
Thank you for watching our stories here online, and please subscribe below to become part of our YouTube community and be notified when we upload our latest content.